Hi everyone. So just clicked. I'm just checking the clock there. Live like 2 minutes before 12, and I thought, yeah, we'll just as usual. I'll just come on to say hi, and also just describe some of the blocks, some of the props that you might find helpful for those who don't have the chat option. Also, if you're there and if you can't hear me, feel free to give me a type. If there's anything you need my attention for, or any questions as well during this class, please just type it into the chat box, or you can just email in after and ask us as well. So I hope you're having a good day. It's so hot and it's also Flying Ant Day. Nice double whammy of things. But okay, so what we'll need for props. I actually don't have a bolster at home. And if you don't either, any kind of pillow, I think the sturdier the better. Or if you don't have a sturdy pillow, maybe just bring a couple of them. So you've got something that we're going to use for our backs and also something to prop up your head. You can also grab a block. And if you don't have a block, just grab a really thick book. And again, we'll use it, how are we using it today? Mainly to support our backs and have a play with how we can use a block to sort of get the tension out of the back, but also just for a head support when we lie down on the pillow, so your head doesn't dangle back too far. Cool. Anything else? Oh yes, a strap if you've got one. I mean, just if you've got one. If you haven't got one with you, there's options to not use a strap, so it's definitely not vital. Yeah, cool. All right, let me just do a quick check that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so again, any questions, just type them in, or you can ask us after. Cool. So upper back tension is what we're going to talk about today. So just get comfortable in any seated position. So it's quite nice if you're used to working and sort of sitting on a chair, kind of with your legs just typically on a chair like so, to try and make yourself sit cross-legged, right? And if you struggle with this and find this difficult, please don't worry like how many pillows you need to stick under your bum to make it more comfortable. Really, even if it's, you know, like really high, for you to be able to sit cross-legged comfortably, get pillows or make a little block stack for yourself so you can find yourself comfortable. Another good leg position before we begin is so if you find sitting cross-legged quite all right for you, it's quite nice to try a little different one. So on the bum, in between the legs, nice, and letting and sort of aiding rolling the calves out so you can slide yourself onto a bolster, or like any pillow will be, or even your blocks will be helpful. Okay, so we're going to focus on easing up tension through the neck and the upper back today, and doing it various few ways. It'll be quite a gentle and also quite fluid and slow. So we'll sort of do a bunch of mobility things and then move into a few yin postures, you know, nicely letting go of any tension that we've stored up in our upper backs. So once you've chosen your seated position, and really just pick something maybe a little bit different that you haven't, you know, that you might find beneficial to be sat in rather than your usual. Okay, and then just place your hands anywhere and just start to draw yourself tall. So sometimes it's quite helpful. You can close your eyes even to just notice how your, let's focus on upper back today, how your upper back is feeling. You know, and actually when you take some time to notice, just notice how you are normally sat. I can personally tend to be sat quite chin jutted forward, you know, belly forward and a bit rounded in the shoulders. And so if you start noticing maybe that's the case for you as well, just, you know, using your spine, using kind of a nice analogy of a string drawing up through the crown of the head to just pull yourself all a little taller, you know, sit yourself nicely out from the hips. And perhaps as you do that, very naturally letting the shoulders shrug, move around, and take any initial little stretches or, shoulder stretches, shoulder movements that you need to facilitate this nice long spine. And the last little thing is, if you notice your chin does jut out slightly, we're going to pull it back. So not so much, that we create this double chin effect. But the idea is that we want to bring some length to the back of the neck as well. So kind of imagine you've got a clementine under your neck, and we're only just trying to hold it there. So we don't want to pop the orange, the clementine, or an orange is probably too big, but we just want to hold it under the neck. Okay, and that's just slight sensation of the chin drawing in to lengthen the back of the neck towards the hairline. Okay, we're going to try our best to sort of, every time we find that we need to go to an upright or an upright seated position, you're going to do this little check, and pull that spine tall and pull the chin in to hold your citrus fruit. Nice. And then now just dropping the chin completely to the chest. Stay quite tall through your spine. We're just going to roll the neck one way. And so if you tend to do this quite quickly, I'm going to encourage you to move a little slower today and really take a nice full rotation. So if you've gone, rolling with your head to the left, that's okay. Keep going that way. I'm just going to the right first. We'll get a chance to do both sides. Maybe just taking 3 quite long and slow rolls one way. And after the third one, just go the other way. And really try and make big circles, so you're really moving into your range of mobility, in the ranges that we maybe don't go to in our day, like working or whatever we're doing in the day. So 3 rolls on the other side. Okay, and then draw yourself nice and tall again. And now let's interlace the fingers together. We're just going to bring it all to the neck. So I might face the side so you can have a look from the side. We literally want maybe the 4th to the 3rd finger somewhere in our hairline. Okay, so and then the rest of the hands really quite gripping the skin on the neck. Okay, we can let our spine be more fluid now as we take this motion. So you're going to almost use your hands for an extra help to feel like maybe you can lift the chest, lift the skin of the neck up towards the hairline a little more. And in doing so, maybe your elbows sort of bow out a little, maybe your shoulders raise up as well. That's okay. So rather than the hands just sort of resting onto the neck, we're really using the interlaced fingers and the feeling of the skin to pull up towards the head. So maybe even so, as you lift and slide the hands up towards the nape of the neck, your hands move into your hair slightly. Just let that happen. Okay, and then we're just going to curl down the other way. So you can just replace the hands back to the nape of the neck. And as we curl down, you can let the navel roll in slightly. And same thing here, rather than the hand sort of just weighing the neck down, thinking about kind of smoothing the skin up towards the crown of the head. Okay, pull yourself up tall. Let's do this one more time. Hands again, just replace it towards the hairline. And as you lift the chest, puffing the chest up, pulling the skin upwards. It's like a nice self-massage, really letting your hands run from the neck into the hairline, maybe even onto the scalp. And then one more time the other way, rolling the spine around and placing the hands near the hairline. Okay, and then pulling, bring the hands kind of into towards the scalp, on your hair. Nice. And then sitting yourself back tall. So change your seating position if you need to, if you find you're getting a little uncomfortable. Draw yourself nice and tall once again. Nice. So we're going to take the right hand onto the right shoulder and just work with a little mobility here just while sat down, simply taking the elbow. And again, rather than just circling really small, actually you could start really small. Okay, and then eventually I'm maybe hungry for pastry right now. Draw a cinnamon roll from the start of the center of the cinnamon roll, nice and small. Okay, and then we're going to get to the outer edges of our cinnamon roll. So slowly bigger and bigger. Now, if you find this sort of takes your whole body with you, just kind of go with it and seeing how large this roll can be. That would be brilliant. Giant cinnamon roll. That'll be so tasty. Okay, and then stopping, and then we're going to go the other way. So again, from the center of the roll. Again, you're slowly going to get larger and larger. And again, if you start feeling it even in the side of the body, like everything kind of wants to move with it, just let that happen. Nice, and letting your right hand rest to the floor, on the legs. Let's do the left side. Okay, so start, I'm going to face this way now. Start going one way, so just choosing any way. So it's also quite nice if you want to bring your neck into play for this. You can literally, as you roll, just change the position of your neck. You can roll it forward and back, and then get really gung-ho with the outer edges of the roll. Start to, feel it again everywhere you'd like on the side of the body, around the neck. And we're going to do it the other way. So it's little small rolls, circles. Slightly bigger. Nice. Releasing the hands back onto the legs. And now just really gentle twisting. So you can even keep your left hand on your left leg, whether you're sat cross-legged or not. We're just going to use your right hand to hold somewhere. It could be the floor. It could be the floor or your thigh or your knee. We're just going to, again, keep that upright position and just kind of don't think about the lower back so much, playing with how the upper back feels. Okay, so try not to kind of cock the neck down and try and look back as much as you can. Keep the crown of the head nice and loose. And you're sort of shimmying the shoulders a little just to see if you can just gently twist open. So it might help for more leverage to take the hand in like this cactus arm position. And again, the aim really isn't to twist that far. We're just trying to get mobile in our upper back. So if it helps, you can let the hand go and just kind of do massive rotations with the arm. And as you open it to the back, just seeing if you naturally want to twist a little bit more, but in the shoulders and the upper back a lot more than the lower back. Nice. Back to the front and then the other side. So again, right hand can stay on the right side, keeping everything nice and long, nice and fluid, and just having a place. So once you feel anything go to your lower back, we're just going to dial it back a little. And then maybe you can kind of cactus the arms. You could even just kind of bounce in between both, forward and back. And again, we're aiming for mobility rather than holding a static posture. Okay, and if that you found kind of waving the arms around helped, or you can also do this version. Nice. And then releasing a few little shrugs. Now either holding the elbows behind you or clasping the fingers. We're just gently going to encourage the chest to pull forward. The chin can come down. Nice. And then everything releasing off. So we're going to come off our bum. Taking your pillow with you, and actually also your block or maybe your stack of pillows. So I'm only bringing the block here for height, and we're going to just leave it there for a second in front of our faces. So coming to all fours, cat and cow. So a nice one that we see in most yoga classes, but really helps, especially this one. So letting the head hang. right? And rather than taking the roundness too much towards the hips and the lower back, we're really going to feel through the shoulders. So it helps even to pad through the hands a bit. So it feels like you're kind of aiming to shift the weight, in between left and right hand, creating just a little bit more, again, mobility in the upper back. Okay, and as you bring the chest through, so maybe don't go for your most maximum posture. And then again, maybe playing with just moving the shoulders back and forth, one at a time. Okay, bringing the left palm slightly more in towards the center of the mat, just for stability. If this is too low, you can take your block and go a little higher. Okay, we're just going to get comfortable on one arm, and this arm will be able to bend as much as you like as we go through this next one. Really similar to what we did sat down. We're just playing with opening up the shoulder. Right, and so your left hand will sort of help you stabilize, but also you will move quite a lot. Right? So don't feel like you have to keep your chest pointing down to the floor. And if it's more helpful to take the whole arm and make circles, do that instead. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. So replacing right hand, and we're going to drop it a little bit closer to the center of the mat just for balance. And then just having a wriggle around. So really seeing as you open the arms, if you can really open up the chest to the side. Okay, and everyone back down. Nice. So knees are going to go under the hips, right? And then arms. So I'll kind of leave it to you whether you want the block there or not. Basically, if you struggle with getting quite low down onto the mat, then just make a higher stack so you don't have to, be so low to the floor. If you're happy with being quite low to the floor, then just some cushioning, some extra padding under the arms is helpful. So getting the forearms on your pillow or your block. And then you're just going to find a nice position where you can straighten the arms. And if that's not possible, that's okay. You can also bend them. And we're just going to let the chest drop down and just see what's manageable for you. So I'm going to sort of come into an interim. You could also be here, right? And you are at this point maybe really trying to coax that chest down. If this is too low, again, make a higher stack. Right? Or maybe you've got a wider range of shoulder mobility at the moment, which means you can head lower down, in which case the arms can straighten. And so picking, again, whichever position works for you. And either the forehead to the floor, or if you're quite bendy in the upper back already, or maybe you're quite bendy in your lower back, so you're getting to the floor easier. Just allowing your chin to come to the floor instead. So stay there in that position. I've just come up because if I do that, I kind of mess up the mic a little bit. So nice, and allowing your chest to sag down. For those who have a really mobile lower back, right, you are going to pull the belly in slightly. Okay? So for those, you can tell where your butt's like sticking out far too easily, you're just going to pull the lower belly in. Okay, and you're going to hold that for 30 more seconds. If you need a break, please just come up. But if not, you're just going to remain in your puppy pose. Gently allowing the shoulders to sink, to open, and the chest to sink down. Okay, gently pick yourself up. Nice. Moving the pillow out the way. Okay, we're going to come onto the belly. And so bringing the forearms in front of you. Now, if you find actually this feels a bit too much for your lower back, you're going to go slightly lower down. And you can do that by just bringing the hands further forward. So just picking what works for you. This can also be quite nice if you put the pillow kind of under your rib cage. And so you've got a little bit of support there for this, quite gentle upper back opening to be happening. Right, so your back of the legs and your legs in general don't have to be ramrod straight. You could literally relax the heels, let them drop out to the side, or if you drop them inwards, whichever one is more comfortable. Okay, and with your hands kind of playing with what feels like a nice prop, where you're not like pushing too much into the floor. And so for some of you, you may find just like bringing, oh, it's really loud out there. Just bringing your hands under your chin might be quite nice. Or maybe cupping your head in your hands. Or even putting your forehead into your hands. Okay, we're going to just stay here maybe another minute or so. And really what we're doing with this is encouraging the upper body to relax while we've already sort of set it up in a chest opener, an upper, like a back bend in essence, to open up, free up the top of the spine. So just picking whatever is best for you and then try and relax your body into it. So let's say you've picked a position where you've got your head somewhere and then your shoulders kind of go all slumpy. We're going to let that happen today. Let's bring the hands back to the floor. And maybe slide them more forward so we can press the palms or the fingertips into the floor. And at this point, really send them forward and then pull yourself up a little taller. Okay, maybe taking the gaze towards the right shoulder or the right ankle. And then to the left shoulder or left ankle. Okay, keeping the pillow under the ribs. Let's just drop the head down slightly. Take the arms back behind you and either holding the elbows or holding, interlacing the fingers. We're now just going to start with the hands, keep the head down and slide those shoulder blades back, pulling the hands back. Or you can do it as well, kind of really grabbing your elbows and just lifting the elbows up. So the head doesn't really need to come up with it. And everyone really saying back down. Okay, palms down, hands down. Let's move this pillow out the way. Push yourself up to all fours. And then just wriggling around. So either doing a cat-cow again, so one of these guys, these things. Or you can keep looking to the right and left, which is pretty nice for the side of the body. The kind of the outer edges of the upper back a bit, like all this area. Okay, we're gonna kind of, let me think. Oh yeah, one more little thing. So bringing that right hand forward, taking that left hand, and we're just gonna drop it under. So I don't know for some of you, but I find this sometimes quite awkward on my head. I feel like it's kind of cricking my neck. So you've got your pillows, and just experiment with what works best for you. We want basically all the weight to head downwards into that left shoulder. We won't stay here for too long. Okay, using your right hand, pick yourself up. And if the pillow didn't work, just change it. Right hand goes under. And then just sinking the weight into that arm. Nice. Slowly picking yourself up. And then just a little few motions again in cat and cow. Okay, a few of these motions again. Maybe if you found this quite helpful, find this quite useful to get mobile. So one side. And then the other. We're going to end in a nice yin restorative back opener. Okay, so taking your pillows, and this will be very different for many of you. If you've got a more like classic yoga bolster, you're going to put it long ways this way, and then playing with where works for you to lie down on it. Basically, this is going to be a prop for your whole back to kind of flop on. All right, some of you may find actually once you've got a bolster, your pillows with you, that your head dangles back too much, in which case take another pillow or just take your block and put it there. Okay, some of you may need to take a little bit more time to maybe use a series of blocks, books, more pillows to build something maybe that goes in this shape, rather than completely flat to the floor. So pick whichever one works for you. So I really find this extremely helpful if you have a higher pillow. It's better. I should bring a bolster home. All right, and you can just take your time and see what's comfortable. So some of you that are more flexible in the lower back, you don't want to put your bolster or your pillow really, too much rammed into the lower back. So maybe you can ease it off a bit, take it a few inches away from your lower back. So it starts slightly higher, but have a play. The main part that we want to affect is up here. Okay, so again, personally, I would go for what would be ideal is definitely a higher pillow. Something where it can kind of make my chest a little more higher. And maybe my head doesn't work. So have a play again. If your setup isn't quite working, you can pause the video and really make this one work. And what you want to feel is this effect of like a doming of the chest naturally with the supports that you've made. I'm taking a bit longer to get into my comfortable place. But if you found your place, just enjoy it, okay? So this is a nice passive chest and upper back opener. So you want your palms to face up, and really they can face up with your arms up to the side, kind of any angle. But find a position where it really, feels like you're getting this lovely open chest. And really take as long as you need to fidget to get to a nice position, get to the right height for your chest. And then close down the eyes. So gently allowing yourself to have the feeling of letting the body melt onto the prop that you've made. Maybe letting your face relax too. And feeling like actually the sides of the body, like all the muscles and the tissues alongside the spine on either side, sort of be able to feel more heavy and kind of melt away from the spine. Same with any sensation in the hips. Try and let your hips be really heavy as possible. And really just everything kind of moving into being as relaxed as you can. And so stay lying down on your little stack you've made. And remember, if it's not quite right, you can simply pause this, make your stack nicely again. Maybe something higher, maybe something lower. Now, if you like, please feel free to stay here for slightly longer. You can pause it and really spend like 10 minutes just lying here with your upper back in a supported back bend, with your chest open. But if you're ready to come out, I highly recommend that, by the way. If you've got an extra 5-10 minutes, pause it, go back into it, stay there for longer. Well, if you've got to kind of head back into your day, just pick yourself up, come back to seated. Okay. And then just allowing your head to just take a few rolls again. Or to be honest, any of the movements that you found the best for your shoulders. And take the hands onto the shoulders, shrug them up, and drop them down. And again, shrug them up, drop them down. And one more time, shrug them up and down. Let's bring the hands up. So shoulders back, chest forward as we do this. Pull the elbows down and up. And elbows down, chest forward. Nice. Bringing palms in prayer, dropping the head down. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you found this useful, maybe hopefully a little bit freer in your upper back. I've got to jump onto the Ashtanga with breathwork class now, which I'm like a minute late for already. But I'll see you next week. I can't remember the topic that we're going to do, but it'll be on the schedule as usual. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.